there are men out here that do a lot worse, but because I'm a woman. Because I'm a woman, you're going to take this away from me? That is not right. You know and you know it, and I know you can't admit it, but I know you know it's not right.
By now, I'm sure you've all heard about the Serena Williams controversy over the weekend. I'm not a tennis fan whatsoever, I don't really know anything about it, and I have no interest in it whatsoever. Why on earth would you be doing a video about it then, Billy? I'll tell you why. Because of that clip right there. That sparked my interest in this. The first thing she went to in this tirade on the sideline was sexism, and it threw me way off because it was a woman-on-woman match. So why would it be sexist? So before I get into this, I guess let me just explain real quick what happened. I'll try and use some video clips here, but I'm not sure if ESPN will flag me down or not. So you'll either be seeing the clips to help with my description of what went down, or you'll just hear me say it. So from what I can understand, since I know nothing about tennis, the first thing that happened was Serena got a warning for being coached from the stands. It's called coaching.
Ramos in the chair.
If he gives me a thumbs up, he's telling me to come on. We don't have any code, and I know you don't know that, and I understand why you may have thought that was coaching, but I'm telling you it's not. I don't cheat to win. I'd rather lose. I'm just letting you know.
It was a coaching violation. I guess it was a thumbs up, and Serena's setting him straight. That is not coaching.
Now, apparently this is something that goes on a lot in tennis. It usually happens. It happens all the time, and people don't really get called for it, so it's sort of a controversial call in that sense. Like, if you're watching baseball, you could probably compare it to a shortstop not stepping on the bag exactly when he goes to make a double play, and they give you an out regardless. But sometimes the ump will be like, you didn't step on the bag, so he's safe. And it doesn't happen often, but it does happen, because obviously you have to touch the base before you throw the ball or he's not going to be out. So some umps at certain times do call it. Like, you know, the tuck rule, that was something controversial with Tom Brady. Now, do sometimes calls like this affect a game in negative ways that they never have before in similar situations? Yes, and that's unfortunate, but it does happen. Like I said with Tom Brady, the tuck rule changed that game. No one's ever heard of it before, but they called it, and it's in the rule books, so it went through. And it's not as if Tom Brady didn't prove afterwards that he was a great quarterback anyway. Went on to win 5 Super Bowls in total. So it wasn't the tuck rule that made Brady great. So to get back to the story, she gets a warning for that. Then later on, the second thing that happened, she got a penalty for breaking her racket because she got pissed about something.
Serena will need a new frame. Smash that one.
Now, I know emotions can fly in a game, you can get emotional, but apparently you can be penalized for breaking your racket. So the judge, or whatever he's called, the umpire, whatever the guy is called in tennis, took away a point, and that pissed her off more. Now, despite the first little outburst, what happened between sets, or whatever it's called in tennis, was this. She talks to the judge, and they talk to each other, and they seem to come to an understanding. He's like, no, don't worry, I don't think you're a cheater, but I thought I saw that, so I called it. And she was fine with it, and then she broke the racket, and she got penalized again, so she really got mad this time. And they go back to jawing at each other on the side. She could have left it at that, not started arguing with him again, but since she was pissed, broke her racket, and got penalized again, she went back at it with him. Now, as you'll see in the clip, or not, because I'm not sure if the clip's going to make it into the video, she's talking with him, she is arguing with him, he's listening to her, she's jawing him out, and he's taking it the whole time. Haha, now imagine talking to an ump like that in baseball. You'd be thrown out of the game. They throw managers out of the game when they argue all the time. But she doesn't give up. She goes right back into it.
When are you going to get
Then she tells him, then don't talk to me. Don't talk to me anymore. So he obliges. He puts his head forward and doesn't say a word.
Serena Williams still fuming. Carlos Ramos.
10, 15, 20 seconds later, she starts opening her mouth again and jawing at him again.
When it's the person in the player box who is actually accused of something.
Yeah, Serena.
And she calls him a thief. And that's when he gives her the third penalty, which was not just a point, a game, a full game. Penalize the full game. I guess that means she loses that automatically. I don't really know what that means in tennis. So at this point, she goes ahead and gets very upset with him and tells her they need the referee. The referee comes out, not to spoil anything, but the ref agreed with the judge's decision. And she's going the whole time about how she isn't a cheater and it didn't happen. And after the game, her coach or whoever it was said that, yeah, he was coaching. It happens all the time in tennis. We do it all the time. So she was actually lying about the whole thing. Maybe she's not a cheater, but he was coaching. It's not maybe looked at as something as cheating, like stealing signs in baseball. You can't get thrown out for stealing someone's signs, but you could steal their signs if you can. So at this point is when she goes on the tirade about it being sexist. And like I said at the beginning, this boggles my mind because, you know, there's another woman playing you, and why isn't she getting penalized? Why aren't you all getting penalized just for being women? And I said to myself, well, I'm shocked they didn't bring it to racism. Lo and behold, the next day on Twitter, this is what I come across. Black women are allowed to have feelings in public. It doesn't make us weak, immature, disgraceful, unstable, or an embarrassment. If you're embarrassed for a black woman expressing emotions in public, these are your feelings, not hers. Black women are allowed to have feelings. Yeah, no shit. The funniest part is the guy underneath. I don't think this had anything to do with race, but I may be wrong. You are, she's like. And you should have seen he cucked real quick to that. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to look into this and all that. And that was fucking embarrassing. But honestly, if you watch people in sports, sometimes when they get over emotional, people are going to be embarrassed by them. It has nothing to do with being a black woman and black women not being able to express emotions. You're not allowed to break a racket apparently on the court, so you get penalized. It's crazy to me that someone somehow made this about race and black people. But I guess I wasn't too shocked because like I said, sexism, I'm surprised they didn't make this about racism. And then I saw something else the next day. The next day, they found another way to make it about racism. Serena Williams, cartoonist denies US Open depiction is racist. So there was this caricature of the incident that occurred, and it looked a little something like this. So here's what the article says. An Australian cartoonist has defended his depiction of Serena Williams at the US Open after the image went viral and was criticized as racist and sexist. Mark Knight's newspaper cartoon showed Williams jumping above a broken racket next to a baby's dummy. Apparently a dummy is a pacifier. Critics said it used racist stereotypes. I would love to see where, but we'll get to that soon. The cartoonist denied it was racist, saying he had intended to depict only the tennis player's poor behavior. Some also said Knight had whitewashed Japanese player Naomi Osaka. Williams sparked controversy during her loss to Osaka, which is crazy that they've overshadowed this whole thing because the spotlight should be on the girl that took down a legend, but instead it's on Serena Williams, whose father is Haitian and mother Japanese, when she accused the umpire of sexism and being a thief. Knight's drawing was published in Australia's most read newspaper, the Herald Sun, on Monday, and referenced Williams' outburst and showed the umpire asking Osaka, "Can you just let her win?" It has been strongly defended by Knight and the newspaper's editor Damon Johnston, who denied the cartoon is sexist or racist. It rightly mocks poor behavior by a tennis legend. Mark has the full support of everyone, he said in a tweet. The Herald Sun editor later tweeted a copy of Wednesday's front page, which reprinted the cartoon along with a series of others, hitting out at the self-appointed censors of Mark Knight. Critics, including author J.K. Rowling, compared the cartoon of Williams to past racist caricatures of African Americans American people. Of course she did. Well done on reducing one of the greatest sports women alive to racist and sexist tropes, which I didn't see there at all. It's just a caricature. Her big features are exaggerated because that's what caricatures do. And as for the whitewashing of the Japanese girl, she has blonde hair, the Japanese girl. And the drawing of her is so small that there's barely any room for skin tone, so I assume it just looks a little whitish because of the size. It's not trying to make her white. We know she's a brown, Japanese-looking woman. We know this. We could see it with our own eyes. It's ridiculous. And turning a second-grade sportswoman into a faceless prop. Others on social media pointing out that Osaka, who is mixed race, has been drawn as a white woman with blonde hair. Yeah, there we go. The National Association of Black Journalists in the U.S. denounced the cartoon as repugnant on many levels. It not only exudes racist and sexist caricature of both women, but Williams' depiction is unnecessarily Sambo-like, it said in a statement. How is it Sambo-like? Why? Because her big lips and big nose are exaggerated in the picture? That's what caricatures look like. Here, look at some caricatures from sports. Everyone is exaggerated, all their features. Hey, guess what? I bet you this caricature isn't racist. Oh, a Trump caricature, not racist at all, right? Amazing, the double standard. The 1899 children's book, The Story of Little Black Sambo, featured derogatory and racial depictions such as characters with thick red lips. Knight said he had no knowledge of those cartoons or that period, saying on Tuesday that the world has just gone crazy. The cartoon was just about Serena on the day having a tantrum. That's basically it, he told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and that is basically it. He's exaggerated her features. Big deal. He called her a baby, that's why a pacifier is on the ground. Knight also rejected the suggestion that he would not draw a similar image of a man as evidence. He tweeted his recent cartoon of tennis player Nick Kyrgios. By 12:15 GMT on Tuesday, both his Twitter and Facebook accounts had been shut down. Oh, look at that. The progressives are harassing a man enough to make him shut down his own Twitter. Now, I know you'll say that that's his doing, right? Yeah, that's what I've said about other people in your camp. When people want to claim Bering is sending his fans to harass them, and they shut down their channels and things because of that, it's harassment. And I've always said, grow up. You're the one who clicked your page off. You're the one who decided to delete your account, not Bering. So I don't buy into that narrative. So what's the point of this video? I guess, they'll just make anything out to be racist at this point in time. I had the feeling it was going to go there anyway. Like, I guess I was shocked that it took a day to get there, and it didn't happen right away, so I was, like, wow, maybe they won't make this about racism. But I was right. My first instinct was correct. And what is there to do at this point, basically, because this is like the times we're living in. I guess all you can really do is just stand your ground, and don't back down when someone challenges your ideas. Stick up for your ideas. If you feel this way like I do, you tell them. This isn't about sexism. This isn't about racism. And if they don't want to hear it, good. Let them walk away. Because there's nothing else we could really do about it at this point in time. And unfortunately, instead of seeing some young tennis player beat a great legend, and that being the great story from sports this weekend, you have this disaster. And it's just unfortunate. Well, everyone, have a good night.